My wife looked me in the eye and said, "Sign a prenup. I'm not risking my future on you." 1. I smiled and said, "Smart move." Because what she didn't know could change everything. Trust isn't something you talk about. It's something you feel. And the moment you start questioning it, something is already broken. The night she said those words, I wasn't surprised. Not really. Because deep down, I always knew this moment would come. My name is Henry Carter. I'm 42 years old. And I've spent most of my life building things quietly. Not companies, not empires, but opportunities, connections, and secrets. The kind of life that doesn't need attention, but controls more than people realize. But my wife, she lived in the spotlight. Emma Carter, CEO, powerful, confident. The kind of woman who walks into a room and owns it without saying a word. People admired her, feared her, respected her, and I loved her. At least, I thought I did. We met 3 years ago. At a charity event, I was there quietly, in the background, like I always am. She was the center of attention, dressed in confidence, surrounded by people who needed something from her. But she noticed me, not because I stood out, but because I didn't try to. "You're different," she said that night. I smiled. "Different doesn't always mean good." She laughed. And that was the beginning. Our relationship moved fast. Too fast, maybe. But when you're with someone like Emma, everything feels like momentum. Decisions happen quickly. Feelings grow intensely. And before you realize it, you're standing at the altar, married. At first, everything felt perfect. Or at least, it looked perfect. The house, the lifestyle, the image. She was successful. I was supportive. That's how people saw it. The quiet husband, the powerful wife. And I never corrected them. Because sometimes, silence is more powerful than truth. But over time, things started to change. Small things at first. The way she spoke. The way she looked at me. The way she introduced me to people. "This is Henry," she'd say. No title. No context. Just a name. Like I didn't need explanation. Or maybe, like I didn't have one. I noticed it. Of course I did. But I didn't react. Because I was watching. Listening. Understanding. And what I understood was simple. She didn't see me as an equal. Not really. To her, I was safe, predictable, harmless. And maybe that's exactly what I wanted her to think. Then, one evening, everything shifted. We were sitting in the living room, quiet, calm, too calm. She put her glass down, looked at me, direct, focused. "I want a prenup," she said. Just like that. No build-up, no hesitation, no emotion. I didn't respond immediately. Not because I was shocked, but because I was curious. Curious about what she would say next. "I'm not risking my future on you," she added. There it was. The truth. Raw, unfiltered, and honest. More honest than she had ever been. Most men would feel insulted, angry, hurt. But I didn't feel any of those things. Because the moment she said it, everything became clear. This wasn't about money. This wasn't about protection. This was about perception. She believed she had more to lose. That she was the one with power. That she was the one taking the risk. And in her world, that made sense. Because she didn't know the truth. She didn't know who I really was. Or what I had built. Or what I was capable of. And that was the interesting part. I leaned back slightly, looked at her, calm, unbothered. Then I smiled, a small one, controlled, and said, "Smart move." She blinked, just once, because that wasn't the reaction she expected. No argument, no resistance, no emotion, just agreement. "You're okay with it?" she asked. There was something in her voice. Surprise. Maybe even a little confusion. Of course, I said. Protection is important. She studied me for a moment, trying to understand, trying to see if she missed something. But I didn't give her anything. No clues, no signals, just calm. And that made her uneasy. I could see it in her eyes. Because people like Emma, they're used to control. They're used to reactions. And when they don't get one, they start questioning everything. Good, she said finally, and picked up her glass again, like the conversation was over. But it wasn't. Not even close. Because in that moment, she thought she was protecting herself. She thought she was setting boundaries. She thought she was in control. But what she didn't realize was that she had just opened a door she wouldn't be able to close. Because signing that prenup wasn't my loss. It was her biggest mistake. And the moment she would realize that, everything would change. Because she thought she was testing me. But she had no idea. I was already 10 steps ahead. The next morning, she acted like nothing happened. No tension. No awkwardness. Just normal. But I've learned something in life. When things feel too normal, something bigger is hiding underneath. Emma was already dressed when I came downstairs. Sharp, confident, perfect, as always. She didn't look at me at first. Just sipped her coffee like the night before never happened. The lawyer will be here at noon, she said. Straight to business. No emotion. No hesitation. I nodded. All right. That was it. No questions. No resistance. And again, that unsettled her. I could feel it, even if she didn't show it. Because people expect conflict. They expect resistance. And when they don't get it, they start wondering why. But I stayed quiet, because silence is where power lives. Noon came faster than expected. The lawyer arrived right on time. A man in his 50s. Professional. Sharp eyes. The kind of man who reads people before reading papers. Mr. Carter, he said, shaking my hand. His grip was firm, but his eyes lingered, like he was trying to figure me out. I smiled politely. Nice to meet you. Emma sat beside me, confident, in control. This won't take long, she said. Of course it wouldn't. For her, this was just paperwork. For me, it was something else entirely. The lawyer opened the folder. Thick, detailed, pages of conditions, clauses, protections, all designed to do one thing: protect her, her assets, her company, her future, and reduce me to almost nothing. If things ever went wrong, he began explaining, this agreement ensures that in the event of separation, I stopped listening, not because it didn't matter, but because I already understood everything better than they thought. Because what they saw as protection, I saw as limitation, and limitations can be used both ways. Do you understand the terms? The lawyer asked. I looked at the papers, then at Emma. She was watching me closely now, waiting, expecting something, maybe doubt, maybe hesitation. But I gave her neither. I understand, I said calmly, and picked up the pen. The room shifted, just slightly, because that moment was supposed to mean something else. It was supposed to be a negotiation, a discussion, but I turned it into something simple. A decision. Henry, the lawyer said carefully, you may want to review this more thoroughly. I signed, just like that. No pause, no second thought. My name, clear, confident, on every page. Emma blinked, once, twice, because now she wasn't just surprised. She was confused. You didn't even read it, she said. I looked up at her. Calm. I trust you, I replied. That line, it hit exactly where I wanted it to. Because trust is a powerful weapon, especially when it's misplaced. Her expression softened just a little, not fully, but enough. Because for a second, She believed me, believed I was exactly what she thought I was. Simple, harmless, easy to control. And that was perfect. The lawyer cleared his throat. Well, everything seems in order. He gathered the papers, still looking at me strangely, like something didn't add up. But he said nothing, because legally, everything was done. Official, final. Emma leaned back in her chair, relaxed now, satisfied, like she had just secured her future. Good decision, she said. I smiled. Like I said, smart move. But this time, there was something else behind it. Something she couldn't see. Not yet. The lawyer left shortly after. And just like that, it was over. Or at least, that's what she thought. That evening, Emma was different. More relaxed. More open. Like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. We had dinner together. Talked like we used to. Laughed even. But I noticed something. A shift. Subtle, but real. She looked at me differently now. Not as an equal, but as someone who had accepted his place. Below her. And I let her believe that. Because sometimes, the best position is the one no one suspects. That night, I sat alone in my study, the signed copy of the prenup in front of me. I flipped through the pages slowly, reading every clause, every condition, every assumption she made about me, and I smiled, because she made one critical mistake. She protected what she had, but she never questioned what I might have, or what I might become. And that oversight would cost her more than she could imagine, because contracts, they don't just define limits, they reveal weaknesses, and hers was right there, hidden between the lines, waiting for the right moment. And when that moment comes, everything she thought she controlled will slip right out of her hands, because she thought the prenup protected her. But she had no idea. She just gave me the advantage. Control is a fragile thing. You think you have it until the moment it slips. Emma was losing control, not all at once, not loudly, but piece by piece. And for the first time since I met her, she couldn't hide it. Her confidence was still there, her voice still strong. But beneath it, there was something new. Doubt, the kind that creeps in slowly, the kind that makes you question everything. She started coming home earlier, not because she wanted to, but because she needed to think, to understand, to find answers she didn't have. One night, she walked in, quieter than usual. No calls, no emails, just silence. She stood there for a moment, looking at me, not casually, not normally, but carefully, like she was seeing me for the first time. "Henry," she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. "Do you believe in coincidence?" I looked up from my glass, met her eyes. "That depends," I said. "On what?" "On how many times it happens." She held my gaze, longer than usual, because now she wasn't just asking, she was searching, trying to connect something, trying to find a pattern. And for the first time, she was looking in the right direction. "3 major deals collapsed this week," she said. I nodded slowly. "I heard." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You heard?" There it was. Suspicion. Small, but real. "I listen," I said calmly. That answer didn't satisfy her. Of course it didn't. Because people like Emma, they need certainty. And right now, everything felt uncertain. She walked closer, slow steps, measured, like she was approaching something dangerous. Or someone. "Something's not right," she said. I stayed silent. Let her continue. "People don't just walk away from deals like that," she added. "They don't back out without a reason." She paused, then looked at me again, deeper this time. And I can't find the reason. That was the truth. Because the reason was sitting right in front of her, but she couldn't see it. Not yet. "What do you think?" she asked. Interesting. She wanted my opinion now. The same man she didn't trust. The same man she thought had nothing to lose. Now, she was asking for answers. I leaned back slightly, calm, controlled. Maybe you're looking in the wrong place, I said. Her eyes locked onto mine. What does that mean? I smiled faintly. It means not every threat is obvious. Silence filled the room, heavy, tense, because now she felt it, that shift, that possibility, that maybe she didn't understand everything, and that scared her. Because people like Emma, they don't fear failure. They fear losing control. And control was slipping. The next day, things got worse. Another deal collapsed. Bigger than the others. More important. More damaging. This time, she didn't hide it. She was angry. Frustrated. Pacing the room. This doesn't make sense, she said. Her voice sharp now. Unfiltered. I built these relationships myself. I secured these contracts. No one just walks away like this. I watched her quietly, because now the pressure was breaking through, and pressure reveals truth. Someone is doing this, she said. Not a question, a statement. Certain. Finally, she looked at me again, and this time there was no hesitation. Do you know anything about this? The question hung in the air, sharp, direct, unavoidable. And for the first time, she wasn't asking as my wife. She was asking as a CEO, as someone who needed answers. And I had them, all of them. But timing is everything. I stood up, slowly, walked toward her, not too fast, not too slow, just enough to close the distance. She didn't move, didn't step back, but I could see it, that tension, that uncertainty, because now she didn't know what to expect, and that was new for her. I stopped in front of her, close enough that she couldn't look away. Then I spoke, calm, steady, clear. Do you really want the answer? Her eyes didn't waver. Yes. No hesitation. No fear. Just determination. Good. Because she was about to get the truth, or at least the beginning of it. I looked at her for a moment, not as her husband, but as someone who had been watching her all along, understanding her, studying her, and now revealing something she never expected. Tell me something, I said. When you asked for that prenup, a pause. What exactly were you protecting yourself from? She frowned slightly. What? I didn't repeat the question. I let it sit. Because sometimes questions are more powerful than answers. You said you didn't trust me? I continued. Her expression shifted, slightly defensive now. I said I wasn't taking risks. Same thing, I replied calmly. Silence, again, heavy, uncomfortable, because now she wasn't in control of the conversation anymore. I was. And now, I added quietly, you're the one facing a risk you don't understand. Her eyes narrowed. What are you saying? I smiled. Not fully. Just enough. I'm saying, I paused. Just for a second. Long enough for the tension to build. For the first time, you're not the one in control. Everything went still. The room, the air, her expression. Because now, she felt it. The shift. The truth getting closer. But not fully revealed. Not yet. Because the real answer was still coming. And when it does, it won't just change her situation. It will change everything she believes. About me. About power. About control. Because she finally realized something was wrong. But she still had no idea how deep it really went. Hello, friends. How did you feel about today's story? If this story touched your heart, let me know in the comments below. And if you want the next part, just comment part 2. I read every single one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you never miss a powerful story like this. See you in the next story.